What's up, y'all? Today is Monday, October 30th, 2023. I am Lindsay Duff, and this is Responsible Day Trading. So first thing I want to do is I want to say congratulations to all of our scholarship winners. We're so happy to have you here as part of the team. I've started seeing some of your homework come in, and I will start taking care of that today. Also, I wanted to mention that we have been working pretty hard over the last few weeks, and when I say it is so close to the curriculum coming out, we actually have our scholarship students in our new curriculum. They're giving us a little bit of feedback about that so we know things or make sure that everything's on point, maybe some grammatical errors, all of that kind of stuff. We do have our Spanish curriculum coming out as well. So we're actually going to release the first section of the Spanish curriculum starting this week. So if you or somebody you know is looking to take a trading course in Spanish, have them hit us up. We are ready to go for you. So, all right, guys, let's go ahead and check out the news. I don't have a lot of time today, so let's check out the news and then let's check out the market. So first we're going to head over to Responsible Day Trading, then we're going to head over to news, and we're going to head over to market news. What do we got? Oh, wow. We got a lot going on this week. Okay, so nothing today. Tomorrow we have 9 a.m., so half an hour after the market opens. Looks like Wednesday and Friday are a doozy, so we may actually see some things moving. We've got some pre-market, and then half an hour after market opens, we've got 3 different things coming out. An hour after market opens, crude oil inventories, and then we got FOMC. And FOMC can really cause a bit of a ruckus, so we just want to make sure we're paying attention to what's going on. Thursday, an hour before the market opens, we've got initial jobless claims, and then Friday, it looks like we got a lot going on there as well. So an hour before the market opens, 15 minutes after, half an hour after. So let's have our fingers crossed that that gets the market moving. All right, so let's go ahead, check out this market. All right, so first thing we're going to do is check out this daily chart. I had a little bit of wishful thinking about right here. So last week, Cesar did the rundown for me, which I really appreciate. Cesar, he did a great job. But the week before, I was talking about maybe making it through here as these were still open, but I knew we were below the zero line, below the EMAs. It was wishful thinking for sure. Our next area we were looking to get to was right in here, which we reached. You can see not only did it reach it, it touched it and bounced right off of it. But when it bounced off, we didn't have a lot of strength in the movement to the upside in the MACDs. On the contrary, we have got a lot of strength and momentum, or we've had a lot of strength and momentum to the downside being outside of the Bollinger Bands. And we do notice the BB's getting a little bit lighter, and we do not have any divergence between the pivots that are happening here and here. Both the MACDs and the price are leading lower, which leads me to believe we may see a little bit of a pullback, but it's going to try and at least go a little bit lower. Ooh, let's check this out really quick. What I want to look at here is where my MACDs have bounced on different occasions. And this is a high pivot area. We can see we've had previous areas pivot there, but we do have some areas down below where it could reach. Now this right here is a very extreme area. I don't expect it to go down all the way down here unless we have something like another pandemic hit. So that was about the time we saw that craziness come into play. It's about the time we saw the pandemic come into play. So I don't expect to see a big spike like this again. Now, I do have this area of support. I mean, we can see that the market moved up, 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 up. We pulled back to this area and it moved up again. We are leading lower than the higher pivot here, but we are still in the realms and in the possibility of this being able to push up again in our near future. Right now, we are below the zero line. We are below the EMAs. We are outside of the Bollinger Bands. We are starting to see a bit of a slowdown in the MACDs, although the direction is still down. We would like to see the possibility of a pullback, maybe right back into this area. But we do see these EMAs really working hard to cross over to the downside. They haven't quite crossed over. They're just starting to, but it does look like we're going to see that happen. So if we're going to anticipate this to move back up, we'd really like to see some sort of divergence, maybe some really, really white BBs and the slowdown to move back up. All right, let's go ahead and check out the 28,657, which is our next biggest chart. Now, do I use this chart to trade? No. but I do use it to help me determine the direction. So it's a little bit stepped down from that daily chart, and it still gives me that overall move and direction. Oh, wow. Okay. You can see we did shift the direction to the downside here. This is that area that we reached, and it did give a little bit of a pushback. And I'm seeing a little bit of potential for this to pull back to the upside a little bit more. We are at an area that could create a bounce to the downside. We are back above the zero line, but we're not back above the EMAs, so the direction is still to the downside here. We did have some divergence through these pivots, and you can see as the price was moving down, boom, 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 MACDs were moving up. So this tells us that we have a little bit of divergence, which tells us we have the potential for this to at least give a decent pushback to the upside. I don't know that we'll make it all the way back up here or back above, but maybe just a little bit higher. And I say maybe lightly because we are within the EMAs. We have seen this bounce off the EMAs to the downside here. This is definitely still a lower pivot as we're looking at the last highs. So I say it's a lower pivot, it hasn't pivoted to the downside yet. It's still lower than these areas to the downside. MACDs did have a pretty strong move up. They are starting to get a little bit lighter, but they are still outside of the Bollinger Band. So we're going to have to see some really strong movement to the downside in these MACDs to really believe that this is going to really, really push down. And if this does come back down, we're probably going to see some divergence between this price action and these pivots. This price won't have a lot of work to do to come down and equal this previous pivot point, but the MACDs are going to have to work for it to get down there. They've been outside with strength, and to get back down below this Bollinger Band, to get back down below these previous pivot areas, it's got a lot of work to do. So it tells me if it comes back down there, probably going to see some divergence. So we just want to keep that in mind and be prepared for if it does happen. But right now, the momentum is still to the upside. It looks like it's trying to create a reversal bar here. I mean, there's still 1,200 ticks left, so it's got a little ways before it closes. If I'm even looking over at my 233, I can see that it's still got strength to the upside. So this may have the potential to push up just a little bit more. Before I let that 233 run the show, let's go ahead and look at what all of my charts are saying. All right, so here we are on our trading charts. Now, our trading charts give us a little bit more immediate information than we were getting from looking at the daily chart and the 28,657. We're going to start off reading left to right. So we're going to look at our 10,946 first. Our 10,946 direction has shifted to the upside. It's actually to the upside on the 10,946 and the 1597, and it is really working to make it to the upside on the 233. Let's talk a little bit about what's happened here. We did have a nice strong move to the downside. You can see these pivots pulled down, pulled down. We didn't even cross that bottom Bollinger Band when those pivots were pulling down. We expected this to push back up. When it got to these EMAs right here, the MACDs were just still smoking to the upside. We had a little bit of a gap here, not too much of a gap, so it's not one that I think that people are itching to close, but we had a little bit of a gap here, and when it opened up, man, it just smoked to the upside. Now, we do have these very, very white BBs. It is pulled back in, but I do believe it looks like we still have a little bit of strength to the upside. We have what looks like a reversal bar here to push up. The MACDs haven't even made an attempt to push down with any kind of strength. They're very, very weak. Now, we are 28 minutes before the market opens. So that can shift and change very easily, because just as the MACDs did this on the way to the upside, we're looking at our 1597, our trading chart, and the MACDs did the same to the downside. It didn't cross that that top Bollinger Band. Now, we didn't see the kind of strength in the MACDs here down as we saw in the MACDs here up. So this area started to give the bounce, and we can see the MACDs are attempting to push to the upside. We may see this kind of mill around in this area a little bit, pull back. These aren't very strong. We want to see them cross that top Bollinger Band. Now, if we really want to believe this is continuing up, what will happen, or what we'd like to see happen, is these MACDs cross the top Bollinger Band, price push up, and then pull back in with some weakness and bam, move to the upside. Those are the type of things that we're going to look for if we're going to anticipate this to push up past this area. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag, but I do see more potential for this to at least push up for now and then maybe still continue down. I'd really like to watch that daily chart and just keep an eye on what it's telling me in the manner of, is this going to die out here? We may see this pull back up into the area of, that 4,200 area, which is, a pretty decent area to run up to give us some give us some information to work with, but it's going to be hard work. I don't expect it to really break through this area to the upside, maybe pull back towards it. But as we can see right now, we saw the price bars closing down, even closing down here, even though it made a little bit of a tail. And this is just the start of the day. So we can't base our judgment of the whole day by just what's happening at the start of the day with just this little bar. It could push all the way up here. It could push all the way down here. I think it has more of a chance to pull down, pull back and then push down, kind of like this right here, pulling back and pushing down. But we're going to have to just really wait, watch, and see what happens. So just looking at this before it's opening and looking at how the MACDs are behaving and what's happening in here, this little flag reversal bar may not be enough to push the market to the upside. You can see the BB starting to pull down a little bit. Now, we want to see it just really push strong if we're going to expect it to come all the way back here, which we don't see quite yet. The 233 is attempting to pick up the pace to the downside, but we don't want to let that 233 run the show. It's like letting your toddler be in charge of the kitchen. Just watching this, it hasn't really pulled back outside of the Bollinger Bands just yet, but it definitely could. It's working its way up. Maybe this EMA is going to hold. Maybe this reversal bar will do its job. What I would be paying attention to here, if I'm going to expect it to go up, is how this is going to react. Are we going to get back above this Bollinger Band, or is it going to push back down? If it's going to push back down, I'm going to expect, and I know that's in the immediate, but if this is going to push back down through that bottom Bollinger Band, I'm going to expect it to keep pushing down at that point. But we can see what happened. It rolled off that bottom Bollinger Band. It's really attempting to push up. It's going to, we'd really need to see this pull away from here. And like I said, see that BB cross that top Bollinger Band. This is a weak movement to the downside so far. Go about 2 more minutes. I just want to see if this is going to give us some good behavior that we can talk about a little bit. Okay, we didn't cross that top Bollinger Band in the immediate. Trying to make a little bit of a ceiling here. We didn't see any strength in this push up to the MACDs, so we may see this pull back into the area again. And remember what I said just a minute ago. I'd like to see this push back above this Bollinger Band and then pull back in and give me the opportunity to move up. We're not quite seeing that just yet. Divergence trying to push this BB down. It's moving really slow because the market is not quite open yet. Still got about 20 minutes. Ooh. I say it like that because look, we didn't cross that bottom Bollinger Band. It pushed back up above. It is working so hard to get back above that top Bollinger Band. Working really hard. Let's see if it's going to make it. Just this very weak pull down. Now, the market could open. This could all shift and change. But it's just paying attention to the immediate movements coupled with what the longer term trend is saying to help us to identify. And you know me, I am a very optimistic person, so I'm always expecting the market to go up. So I have to really keep my focus on whether or not it's really going up at that time or if it's pushing down. Okay, look at that, the way it crossed the bottom Bollinger Band. We never got back above there, not just yet. And I said I'd like to see it come back above here and pull back. I might even be okay with it just pulling back and then pushing up. So not that I'm taking anything at this moment. All right, so market hasn't opened. It's moving very, very slowly. It is still, direction is up here. The direction is up here. The direction has moved to the upside here. It hasn't moved back down. So currently we are looking for more up, but we're going to wait and see what happens with these MACDs. We'd like to see them push back up with a little bit more strength in order to anticipate it to really have a good opportunity to move up, but we're just going to have to keep an eye on it. Okay, so that is going to wrap it up. I hope that everybody has a wonderful week. Please, guys, if you have questions, reach out. Remember that we will start having our English curriculum out. I think this next week we're going to start rolling out the first section, and we're rolling out the first section of the Spanish curriculum already. So everything is moving on target. So if you have questions, reach out about that. We'd be happy to help you out. If you're a beginner to this, we do have a beginner guide. So check out the beginner guide. You just go to our website and there's a spot right there that says beginner guide. Click for it. You fill out your information and boom, we're going to send it to you. Also, another thing, we are opening a Discord channel. We have started it. It's looking pretty good. We're going to start accepting people into it very soon. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely hit us up and let us know. All right, guys, that is going to wrap up this Halloween's Eve. I hope that everybody has a wonderful week. And as always, you know that I look forward to catching you on the profitable side.